In the late 19th century, Jonathan Harker, a young English solicitor desperately seeking to advance his career, journeys deep into the Carpathian Mountains to finalize a real estate deal with the reclusive Count Dracula, ignoring the abject terror of villagers who fall to their knees begging him not to continue, pressing crucifixes into his hands with trembling fingers, crossing themselves repeatedly, and whispering in broken German that the castle is cursed, that travelers disappear into those mountains never to return, that wolves obey the Count's commands, and that the dead walk in that place, warnings Jonathan dismisses as primitive superstition born of ignorance and isolation, though his confidence begins to crack as his carriage climbs higher into the mountains where the forests grow dense and lightless, where wolves with eyes like burning coals pace alongside the road, where the driver refuses to go further and leaves him at a crossroads at midnight, and where another carriage arrives driven by a tall figure whose face remains hidden in shadow, who never speaks, whose hands are ice-cold when they briefly touch Jonathan's, and who drives with reckless inhuman speed up treacherous mountain paths in complete darkness as if he can see perfectly without light, until they arrive at Castle Dracula, a massive crumbling fortress of black stone that looms against the night sky like a rotting tooth, its windows dark and empty as the sockets of a skull, its courtyard overgrown with weeds pushing up through cracked stones, and its massive oak door opening by itself with a groan of rusted hinges to reveal a vast entrance hall lit only by a single candle held by Count Dracula himself, an elderly nobleman of aristocratic bearing but deeply unsettling appearance, impossibly pale with skin like aged parchment stretched over bone, hair white as snow but thick and vital, a hooked nose, bushy eyebrows that meet over his nose, pointed ears, cruel red lips that seem too full and sensual for his ancient face, and hands that are broad and strong with long fingers and sharp nails, with hair growing from the palms, and Jonathan notices immediately that despite the Count's courteous welcome his handshake is like gripping a corpse, cold and utterly lifeless, that his breath carries the faint sweet sick smell of the grave, that when he speaks his canine teeth are unusually long and pointed, and that his eyes, his terrible eyes, are not the faded blue or brown of old age but a fierce burning red that seems to glow with their own hellish light in the shadows, and from that first moment Jonathan senses something profoundly, cosmically wrong, a feeling that intensifies as the days pass in that nightmare castle where he never sees another living soul, where dust lies thick on every surface as if undisturbed for decades, where the Count appears only after dark and vanishes before dawn, where no mirrors hang on any wall, and when Jonathan produces his own shaving mirror the Count recoils with a hiss of rage, and Jonathan realizes with creeping horror that the Count casts no reflection, that empty space exists where his image should be, and this impossible truth is only the beginning because the Count never eats, never drinks, dismissing Jonathan's questions about meals with vague promises while Jonathan dines alone on cold food that appears on a table as if by magic. The Count never sleeps, for Jonathan hears him pacing the corridors all night with a strange shuffling gait. The castle itself seems alive with malevolent intelligence, doors locking themselves from the outside with the grinding of ancient mechanisms, windows that will not open no matter how Jonathan struggles with them, corridors that seem to shift and change so that Jonathan cannot find his way back to his room, and worst of all are the sounds, the howling of wolves that seems to come from inside the castle walls.